Hello, what is up guys? It's Evil2SRM here, back with another Blade and Soul video. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the Serpent Assassin and what I use for my build, as well as the rotation at varying gear levels. Basically, as you progress through different soul badges and mystic badges, how your rotation changes to maximize your DPS. So if you haven't been watching the most recent videos on the channel, you will have not seen that I've been playing my Assassin quite a bit, and I've really fallen in love with the Serpent build. I used to like the Shadow build, the old Lightning build, you know, being in stealth, being able to stealth through everything, but with the changes to the game and game mechanics and boss mechanics, the Serpent Assassin feels so much better, and I'm really enjoying playing as it. Anyway, so I figured I would make a video to cover what I've learned in the last couple of weeks with the new Awakening patch and give you an idea on how to play this class. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at my build setup. And before we get started, if you are new to the channel or enjoying the videos, please consider subscribing, as it does mean a lot to me. So without further ado, let's get into it, and let's start by looking at my build. So I am running Cutting Deep, Move Like Shadow, Fighting Spirit, Landmine, and Spreading Poison. This to me seems to be the optimal setup for an assassin. Now there are different options. If you switch to these ones here, you get additional CCs on this tier, so if you wanted to switch in different CCs depending on the boss, this is where you're going to do those, but for general play, Move Like Shadow is tremendous. Additionally, the ability to use Shadow Drain is a great bonus, and you'll see why, because it's a major component of your rotation. Cutting Deep is your main DPS rotations. These other ones add stuns or various skills to the rotation, and then this final one makes Bombard and AoE. So if you're leveling, go with the Stunning Blast option because of the Bombard skill. It's an AoE skill, do more damage to killing mobs. But once you start playing, I really like the Cutting Deep. Fighting Spirit, you have Fighting Spirit for your blue buff if you want to buff your teammates. Lotus of Escape allows you to escape in PvP and do tricky things with yourself there. And Lotus of Rescue allows you to taxi your entire party past a mob or past an area. So swap these in. A thing of note is that if you use Lotus of Rescue to like taxi past an entire group of mobs or want to skip an entire section of a dungeon, as soon as you get to the part where you're fighting the boss, you can switch to Fighting Spirit and it is off cooldown. These two skills have different cooldowns now. Previously, if you switch between the two skills, they would share the same cooldown, so them being separate cooldowns now is tremendous for quality of life. This one, you're always going to want to take Landmine. The reason for that is because these other two options change the skill to Poison Breath and Poison Breath. So even though these skills are magical, you're going to want to take Landmine because of that Poison Breath versus Choke Bomb. So Landmine gives you Choke Bomb, and Choke Bomb, you'll see why, is a super awesome and super critical skill for the Assassin. So this last tier down here is actually pretty interesting. Sleeping Toxin doesn't really do much, so don't worry about that skill. But between Spreading Poison and Virulence, we have quite the interesting choice here. So we're going to look at the Virulence skill first. It has a passive ability that is Toxic Veil, and it basically buffs the Toxic Veil skill. So if you hit K on your keyboard and open the view icon here, you will see a Toxic Veil skill that is under a passive section. It's got a None tab. And what this one does, and actually I have to switch back to Spreading Poison so you can see the actual effect. What this one does is that whenever you get attacked, you return 300 damage to the person who attacked you. Additionally, you give them 1 Venom stack, and you have a 10% chance to deal an additional 300% of your attack power on a critical hit. So that's pretty neat, considering you're going to be getting a lot of critical hits on your Assassin because you have so many critical boosting skills. If we switch to the Virulence option and hover over Toxic Veil, it adds an additional 10% chance to that chance of dealing an additional attack power bonus on a critical hit, and it additionally bumps that damage from 300% to 500%. So basically, it averages out to that you're doing 100% of your attack power on average on every single critical hit that you get. So that is a very interesting spec. But the reason that I take Spreading Poison has to do with the Oransu Mystic Badge that you're going to be getting later. Additionally, it is a lot easier to keep up poison stacks if you mess up at some point by throwing down a Spreading Poison that instantly gives you 5 stacks than it is to maintain and maximize this Virulence effect. However, this is definitely something interesting and something I kind of want to play out with a little bit more. But for now, Spreading Poison is my go-to option. So one more thing to add to the actual Martial Tome overview. I said that these add CCs, but didn't tell you what they add. Cut and Run will add a knockdown after stealth. If you're stealth and you press 1, you do a Tornado Kick instead of a Shadow Drain. I prefer Shadow Drain. It helps you with your rotation, especially early on. However, if you're going to need a knockdown or need an additional CC, you're going to want to pick up this Cut and Run option. Additionally, Cut and Run will add a stun on your C skill, whereas Strategic Retreat does not give you that stun on your C skill. So if you want an additional KD and a stun, then you're going to want to go with Cut and Run. And then this option here, Stunning Strike as well as Stunning Blast, will both add Lightning Rod stun. So you have the ability to add 2 stuns and a knockdown depending on how you spec, but it severely impacts your ability to do damage. So if you're going to need to do the CCs, once again, spec these in. Once again, Cut and Run gives you a stun and a knockdown, and Stunning Blast or Stunning Strike both add another stun. Otherwise, stick with these two options to maximize your damage. So what I'm going to do now is show you your rotation at varying gear levels. So for the Assassin, the Serpent Assassin, your two big impacts to your rotation are going to be your badge and your Mystic badge. So we're going to start off with no badge, no Mystic badge, and show you the I'm fresh out of the story, how do I play this class kind of rotation. Then I'll tell you which badge you want to pick up first, and then obviously you'll be working towards the Aransi Mystic badge. So we've hopped over into the Hongmoon training room to show you the rotation, and basically as you can see we have no additional gear here as far as rotation modifiers. So no Mystic badge, no Soul badge, the rest of the gear doesn't really matter because your rotation is going to be the same regardless of your gear until you get a Mystic badge or a Soul badge. We're going to take a look at the Martial Tome real quick to explain what's going on. The idea behind the Serpent Assassin is that you want to be maximizing your heart stabs per second, ideally with the opponent at maximum stacks of poison. So the initial portion of your combo is going to be getting you into a maximum of 5 stacks of poison as quickly as possible. On top of that, to maximize the heart stabs per second, you want to be getting to the effect that's called Death Blow. So Death Blow happens after this Murderous Intent thing gets stacked, and Murderous Intent gets stacked one time every time you hit a Dark Strike, which is your F, after using a right mouse button, which I'll show you that in a second here. Whenever you get Death Blow, your right mouse button casts instantly, so you'll want to be using that Death Blow stance to get maximum right mouse buttons and repeat the process. So your main rotation when you have Death Blow, or while you're in your Fighting Spirit buff here that also guarantees you a Death Blow as soon as you cast it, is going to be just hold down right mouse button. Once you're out of that stance, it's going to be maintaining your 5 stacks of poison on your opponent, as well as casting right mouse F until you get your Murderous Intent stacked 10 times, which then gives you Death Blow, and then you just hold down right mouse button, rinse and repeat this process until your Fighting Spirit's back up, throw Fighting Spirit on, right mouse F, right mouse F. So anyway, we're going to go into this, and we're going to start off with our opener first. So this is one of our possible openers when we're first fighting an enemy. We're going to want to start with our 4 skill, because that's going to give us an instant 5 stacks of poison. This is also why we picked Choke Bomb instead of the Poison Breath. So if I switch to one of the options that has Poison Breath and hit apply, and then switch back and show you, we have to cast that spell, and we have that time where it's building up. We have to wait for that to build up. So by casting Choke Bomb instead of Poison Breath, we get an instant stack of those 5 poison. Once again, if I just go ahead and show you, boom, instantly hit 5. So no delay, and we can get into our DPS even faster. Alright, so following that initial stack of the 5 poison stacks, we're going to want to go immediately into a Fighting Spirit, followed by a right mouse button holding down. So when we hit 4 to get our 5 stacks, then we hit V, and we get this Death Blow effect you see at the bottom of my screen for 5 seconds because I was hitting pretty slow. You get 7 seconds of Death Blow when you cast it right. So if I show you the difference between just hitting right mouse button when you don't have Death Blow, you can see the attack rate of hitting right mouse button when you don't have Death Blow. Retry. 4V. To get our maximum stacks right there, you see that the right mouse buttons are absolutely flying out. So that's why we want to do that. I also haven't explained why we want 5 stacks of poison on our opponent while we're doing that. So if we go over to Cutting Deep and look at the Heart Stab skill, you will see that Heart Stab inflicts an additional 1,000 to 1,100 damage on an enemy that has 5 poison stacks. Basically, whenever your enemy has 5 poison stacks, they take double damage. Same thing with Dark Strike, they take additional damage, not double damage, they take additional damage whenever they are hit with 5 poison stacks. So always want to have those 5 poison stacks up at all times. So anyway, once again, 4V right mouse button. Now the other thing you can do is you could try and get out of stealth as well. Obviously when you get hit by an enemy you'll go out of stealth, but in order to get out of stealth after you've cast your invisibility skill, V, that's going to put you into stealth, you're going to want to go 4V 4, and then you're right into your right mouse button. 2 buttons back and forth. Your other option to get out of stealth at that point is going to be 4V tab, and that'll take you out of stealth. I hit tab twice because I hit my finger on my desk and knocked it back down. But anyway, you would only hit tab once to go back out of stealth, and you're back into your main rotation. So after your Death Blow and Fighting Spirit buffs wear off, you're going to be starved for focus, and you're going to be struggling to maintain those stacks of poison. So the next thing we're going to look at is how you maintain your poison stacks and how you build up poison stacks when you don't have your Choke Bomb on cooldown, as well as your Fighting Spirit ability. So how are we going to stack our Death Blow? How are we going to stack those poison stacks? So the easiest way to hit our poison stacks without anything up, and we're pretending that I don't have Fighting Spirit up, is going to be a combo, a really simple combo. It's going to be 3, followed by a tab, followed by a 1, followed by a tab. So let's watch this. 3, tab to go into stealth, 1 builds up our final stack, and then tab takes us back out of stealth. And at this point, we have our 5 stacks of poison, and we can work on our RBF, 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 RBF. So once again, watching that same combo over, it's going to be 3, tab, 1, tab, RBF, RBF, RBF. and we're going to continue RBFing until we run out of focus, or our poison meter runs out down there. And you see we hit our death blow stacks, but we ran out of focus, so that absolutely blows. We have our death blow, we have our infinite right mouse buttons, and we can't do anything with it. So how do we get our focus back after this? So some of those skills are going to be off cooldown or on cooldown, so you won't be able to use them, so we need to go into the alternate way to get regenerating focus. So to do that, we're going to start off with the same combo. It's going to be a 3, followed by a tab to go into stealth, and once we're in stealth, we're going to press 4, and of course Moyen would knock me out of stealth while I'm trying to explain it. So we'll go a little bit faster this time so he doesn't hit me. So this time, 3, tab to go into stealth, X to get our 5th poison stack, and then 4 would have taken us out of stealth, so we'll go one more time, go a little bit faster again still. 3 to stack 2 poison stacks, tab to go into stealth, and he does it again. Alright, I'm just going to go fast and not talk this time. 3, tab, X, 4 to come out of stealth. So I beat him that time. That final 4 cast takes you out of stealth and lets you get into your right mouse button F combo. Right mouse F, right mouse F, right mouse F. So basically repeat that process until you are starting to run out of focus again, and then at that point, 3, tab, 1, tab. And you're back into your right mouse F, 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 right mouse F. Come on, give me a death blow. There's a death blow. I'm out of focus, but now I can throw that X down that I was talking about earlier, get that additional focus recovery. I have 5 poison stacks, and I want to go back into stealth and get those poison stacks put back on. So as you can see, you rotate back and forth between the different combos there of either running with the 3, tab, 1, tab, or 3, tab, X, 4. So now I know that seems like a lot of micromanaging you're going to have to do, watching that poison stack meter, keeping the poison stacks up, going through both of those rotations, memorizing the rotations to not mix one of the buttons in there and not get your 5 stacks, just be standing there. It is quite a bit to keep track of when you first get going, but don't worry, as you get more gear as the Serpent Assassin, this becomes so much easier to manage. And the first gear item that you're going to want to pick up as fast as possible is going to be the Glory Soul Badge. So the Glory Soul Badge is obtained with the Glory tokens from Mushin's Tower. If you want to go ahead and buy the Glory tokens off of the marketplace, they are going to set you back 2 gold apiece right now, 3 gold apiece on the NA server, so you're looking at about 200 gold to pick up all the Glory tokens that you need to be able to buy this badge, if you just want to buy it with gold. But anyway, so this Glory Soul Badge, what it does is it resets the cooldown of Choke Bomb and Poison Breath whenever you hit Venom Slash and Shadow Slash. So why is this so cool? Choke Bomb instantly gives you 5 stacks of poison, and it lasts for 10 seconds. The cooldown of Venom Slash is 10 seconds. So every time you cast Venom Slash, you get 5 stacks of poison, and then when those 5 stacks of poison run out, your Venom Slash is off cooldown, you cast it again, and you have 5 stacks of poison again. This basically means you have 100% uptime on your poison stacks. Super useful badge, it's going to make your gameplay so much easier. This also means that you don't have to worry so much about your micromanaging. To complement this badge pickup, you're going to want to pick up a Skyrift Mystic Badge for the Mystic Badge slot. The Skyrift Mystic Badge gives you a bonus whenever you cast Choke Bomb or Poison Breath for 15 seconds, and your Choke Bomb or Poison Breath has a 10-second cooldown, so once again, this badge will always have uptime as well when you're using the Glory Badge. This effect gives you 20% additional critical damage, which is a nice big bonus, especially since you're going to be getting a lot of criticals as the Assassin. Additionally, you're going to gain 2 focus recovery when you hit a Dark Strike during this effect, which basically means you can cast a lot of combos here because Dark Strike typically consumes focus, instead it will be regenerating focus. And you get a bonus attack power on each of those Dark Strikes, so it's a strong badge for you, and it synergizes very well with the Glory Soul Badge. When you get both of these badges, your life becomes so much easier. So I'm only going to be able to show you the Ancestral Soul Badge since I don't feel like buying another Soul Badge to show you how it works, but the only difference that I gain from the Ancestral Soul Badge is a reduction on the cooldown of my V skill as well as an additional poison stack every time I cast 3, but that doesn't matter because I'm getting max poison stacks as soon as I cast 4, and so will you with the Glory Soul Badge. So we're going to throw that badge on and show you how the rotation changes. So your initial combo rotation when you're first starting out for DPS is the same, 4V right mouse button over and over and over and over again. So nothing changed there. But when you're going for your main rotations, when you don't have Death Blow stacked or Fighting Spirit up, this is what it's going to be now. You're going to initiate with a 3, followed by a 4, since that reset cooldown just got reset, and then you're going to go into a right mouse F, right mouse F, right mouse F, right mouse F, right mouse F. If you're having focus problems, the same focus recovery techniques that we've showed you before, tab 1 to get that focus recovery back, and then when your 3 is off cooldown, cast it again to get an instant choke bomb, and continue the mayhem. One more thing to note, if you have the Skyrift Mystic Badge that gives you 2 focus recovery on a Dark Strike, your Dark Strikes will be casting for free, and your Heart Stabs will only be costing you 2. So you notice that whenever I do this, when I did this main combo without that Mystic Badge on, since I don't have a Skyrift Mystic Badge to put on in my inventory, I only have the Uransu Badge. When I'm doing that, you will notice that my stats, or my focus bar, drops very rapidly. You can see how quickly that's going down. And I got an Uransu reset there, which is kind of cheating. But anyway, so when you don't have that badge, your focus drops very quickly. Once you pick up that Skyrift Mystic Badge, it complements this very nicely because your focus won't drop as fast, so you won't be needing to do as many different combos to maintain your focus. Anyway, the next gear upgrade that's going to be making your character most powerful is going to be that Uransu Mystic Badge. So the Uransu Mystic Badge has a Chaos Strike effect that it triggers for 10 seconds after using a Choke Bomb or Poison Breath. So once again, you have 100% uptime on Choke Bomb and Poison Breath, which means you have 100% uptime on your Uransu Mystic Badge. When you're using the Uransu Mystic Badge, the Chaos Strike ability triggers 550% bonus attack power whenever you use the Chaos Strike ability, which triggers off of a Heart Stab. However, it has a half-second cooldown. So basically, every half second you do 550% bonus attack power since your Heart Stab attacks so frequently. Additionally, you will recover 2 focus whenever the Chaos Strike effect is triggered, which is every half second, which is basically as fast as you're casting Heart Stabs. It's actually a little bit slower than the rate you cast Heart Stabs, but for the most part, that focus recovery will make it so you never run out of focus while casting Heart Stab. Now, the kicker to this badge is that Chaos Strike, the ability, has no cooldown when you're inside of Toxic Splash, which you get from the Spreading Poison option. The Spreading Poison option enables Toxic Slash, which is why I am putting that one on instead of the Virulence one over here. Anyway, so we'll show you the difference in damage between the with Toxic Splash and without Toxic Splash, so you can see why I'm using that one. But we're also going to throw the badge on so you can see how easy this is. So this mainly impacts your first initial combo, however it does give you great focus recovery while also just doing your normal DPS rotation. So let's start off with a Toxic Splash. Well, let's do a non-Toxic Splash first. So let's just do 4V right mouse button. So you can see it comes out very easily. I'm having 0 focus problems whatsoever because I'm getting all of that focus recovery, and I burst for about 420k right up there. So now let's go ahead and show you it with Toxic Splash. So if I go Toxic Splash V4 and hold it down, you will notice that that burst damage go way above that 420 mark. We're up to 450, 460, 450. So we perked about 30,000 more DPS simply because of that reduction of that half a second of cooldown between Chaos Strikes. So that is why I'm liking Toxic Slash, and improves my DPS pretty solidly. But otherwise, guys, that is pretty much it. Your rotation does not change with the Mystic Badge, the Uransu Mystic Badge. You're still going to want to go with the 3, 4, and then right mouse F, and I missed 4 key that time. But anyway, right mouse F, right mouse F, right mouse F, right mouse F. The nice thing about the Uransu Mystic Badge is that you can see my focus is not dropping hardly at all. It's maintaining itself quite nicely because of all of the focus recovery that you gain while in this. And of course, you will see that I completely mess up right there. But anyway, it doesn't move down hardly at all because the Uransu Mystic Badge is always keeping that focus up. And I get into another death blow, and hold down right mouse button, and then when the 3 comes off cooldown right now, boom, back up to maximum focus. So your focus problems are completely eliminated, and then of course I get scanned by the boss. But anyway, definitely helps the rotation even further, and basically makes it so that it becomes sort of brain dead, but not entirely brain dead because you still have a lot of things you got to manage, but makes it so much easier than you originally started. I mean, if you rewind this video like 10 minutes and see your initial combos that you had to do to maintain focus compared to what you've got to do when you get all this gear, unimaginable the difference. But anyway, guys, I hope this video helps you. I hope it gives you an idea if you want to play the Assassin, if you're just watching it to see how it plays. And if you are an Assassin main or like playing the Assassin, I really hope it gives you an idea on how to play the Serpent Assassin build. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you did like the video, make sure to leave a like, and I will see you at the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Peace.